Here's one of the latest interviews from Rock and Metal Revival. If you want to hear the whole show, go to rmrshow.com. There's brand new music from Ethan Brosh. It's from an album called Live the Dream. It's called Space Invaders on Rock and Metal Revival, and we are fortunate enough to have with us on the show today, Jerry. Ethan, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, guys? Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, Ethan, to us, you're a new artist. Tell us a little bit about yourself and about your music.
Okay. Obviously, I'm a guitar player, as you probably heard on this tune. And, I've been playing guitar for a long time. I grew up in Israel, and I started playing guitar after I discovered Iron Maiden quite a long time ago.
Nice. Sweet.
And, I just started playing guitar and gotten into a lot of these really awesome 80s guitar players like, George Lynch and Jakey Lee and Yngwie Malmsteen and all these great players. And, at some point I just moved to the United States and went to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and that's where I still am because now I do some teaching there.
Nice.
I have a career as, an instrumental guitar player, along with, playing in various bands like that. So that's generally what I do.
Well, I mean, I heard you say Jakey Lee's name in there, so it's got to be kind of cool for you right now to be out on the road with Red Dragon Cartel.
Absolutely. I mean, Jakey Lee is one of my biggest influences. Like, I'll never forget the day that I was just flipping through the channels when I was just a young teenager, and I landed on MTV, and it was just in the middle of a guitar solo, and I just saw this guy with the big hair, and he had like a white and black guitar, and it was the most the craziest thing I've ever seen, and I just couldn't wait till the end of the song just to see who is it by, and I wanted to try and remember that name so I can go look for it, and that was before, like the internet, and so it was a little harder to get the music that you wanted. At the end of the song came, and then it just said Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon, and just like I remembered that, and I found it finally, and it really changed my life. It was a real turning point. It was like metal being played so well. Jakey Lee has been a huge influence on me, and that was already the time that he pretty much quit the business. And for the longest time, no one really knew what was up with him. I even heard rumors that it was dead at some point, and I had no way of actually confirming that or anything like that. And then later on, I realized that he was still alive, and I was really happy. And now, all these years later, like I never thought it would make a comeback, but now that he's back touring again and showing his face and making some new music, it just makes me very happy just to see that. And for me, being on tour with him and seeing him play every night, this is it's very exciting. I'm really happy that I get to be a part of it.
Have you got a chance to just go, hey Jake, let's sit down and jam? Have you had that opportunity yet?
You know what? A year ago, I opened for him when he made his second show back, when he made his return. And just after the show, I was like, Jake, you got to show me all the tricks to Bark at the Moon. It's like no one knows how to play it the right way. You got to show it to me. And he did. He showed me all the secrets. And after like 20 years of not knowing exactly what's going on there, and everyone has its own, like his own version of playing Bark at the Moon, and to get all the secrets and be like, oh, that's how it is, that was pretty amazing.
That's awesome, because I'm a guitar player, and that's the first thing I'm thinking of is, you get to hang out with people like that. That's pretty awesome. You got to open for Michael Schenker, too, for a while, didn't you?
We did a few dates with Michael Schenker back in January.
He's my guy right there. Guitar player, him and Randy Rhoads. But, Jakey Lee had a tough spot coming in after Randy Rhoads. But
absolutely.
But he's a great guitar player, man. Wow.
Jakey Lee, Jake is is absolutely great. And yeah, recently I actually met Randy Rhoads' brother and sister.
Oh, Kelly?
Yeah.
That's cool. Very
I
cool.
played Crazy Train in that Randy Rhoads Remembered thing that they did.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
Well, that's
his brother and sister were there, and his sister just looks so much like him.
Yes.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
So now, when you're teaching there at Berklee School of Music, now I had a friend of mine that went there to play the drums there. Are you teaching them rock and roll? Or are you teaching them all kinds of stuff? Yeah, some of these kids probably don't know who half these 80 guitarists are, do they?
Yeah. So I tried to introduce some of these great players to them, because a lot of these kids are like, I like John Mayer. Like, all right, listen to this. Forget about that stuff. Right? So, yeah. I mean, I get a variety of players that came from all kinds of backgrounds, but I'm there to teach rock because there are a lot of amazing teachers at Berklee, and like amazing jazz players and blues players and all kinds of players. So I'm just, it wouldn't be smart for me to go and try and teach them something that I'm not into absolutely 110%.
Yeah.
So, I'm just sticking to my guns, and I'm there to really teach them rock, and that's what I do. But at the same time, besides really teaching them guitar, it's like I really go into songwriting and a lot of theory and just music in general. But the focus is, around rock, obviously.
Very cool. Well, now you've got a new CD out called Live the Dream. And tell us a little bit about what went into that. I mean, you coming from Israel, going to Berklee, being on tour with Jakey Lee, you're kind of living the dream, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess. Last year I toured with Yngwie Malmsteen, which was a huge deal for me. And
cool.
I have a video with George Lynch, and I'm doing a lot of the things that I could never even dream of. And so, the title means that, and plus, it's also like the whole theme of like a confused dream. If you look at the cover and you look at the track titles. So it's kind of like a double meaning of a name. And yeah, this album, it took me about 2 years to complete the whole project. And it's my second instrumental record. So I knew a lot more about what to do to actually make a record the second time going into it. And I think we recorded it really, really well. We actually went into a really good studio and recorded the drums to tape, like the way that they used to do it. And then we mixed the record. Max Norman mixed it, and Max Norman is the guy that produced Ozzy's first 3 records with Randy Rhoads and Jakey Lee, and he did all the classic Megadeth records. And I actually convinced him to come out of retirement to mix this record, and we went to a great studio again, and we mixed the whole thing on a big SSL board. And then Max and I both went to the greatest mastering engineer of all times, Bob Ludwig, and he mastered it. So even on the recording side of it, I got to work with some of my heroes.
That's awesome.
On the production side. So that's amazing. I don't know how to make a bigger sounding record, because I worked with the best people, and I really took my time with it and used the best equipment. And this is just, I don't know, it's my best work by far.
Now, I watched the Space Invader video, and you got a cool guitar. What kind of guitar is that? Because there's no name on it, and it's a little bit different strat shape. And
yeah, I actually wrote it in the description. It's by a new company called Scary Guitars, and this is actually the guy that built the guitar. He's my guitar tech back in Boston, so he works on all my guitars and everything. And he, is a great guitar tech, and he's got a lot of passion for just anything that has to do with making guitars and fixing guitars. And the guitar kind of looks like an alien, and I thought it was perfect for the Space Invaders video.
Yeah.
So that's the reason. And it has a really cool color. It's really well made, and that's the prototype. So yeah, all the information is in the description for anyone who's interested in getting one of those crazy guitars.
Yeah, because it's got the scallop fretboard. Do you use a scallop fretboard like that?
I actually don't. This is
So that video you just blew the whole video, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's only scallops from the 12th fret up, so I only screwed up half the video. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. As long as the parts where you're down on the neck, those are okay.
I mean, you know why I don't use a scallop neck? There's a very good reason for it, and the reason is that I do not want to rip off Yngwie Malmsteen because I feel like there are plenty of people that already do that.
Yeah.
So,
had you played a scallop neck before?
I have, and it's extremely comfortable and really good for live playing. It's a much better grip of the notes. Huh. So it's cool. I feel bad about taking the guitars that I'm already really attached to and actually going and destroying the neck like that.
Yeah.
It would be cool to have, but, I always knew that at some point Yngwie Malmsteen would know who I am. And I didn't want him to think, oh, Ethan is another one of my rip-offs and he's playing a scallop guitar,
Yeah.
And, when I was touring with him last year, I was really happy to see that he actually, he definitely respected what I was doing, and he liked my playing, and he obviously didn't think that I was just another one who was trying to copy him.
That's cool. Very
so
cool.
that... I guess, I guess it worked out just right.
That's cool. Well, we also saw that you were involved in the Drum Wars project with the Vinny and Carmin. We're not even going to try to say the last name right because we'll get it wrong.
Yeah, it'll be one guy will like it and the other one won't. Appice.
Carmin is Carmine Appice, and
Vinny Appice.
Vinny Appice.
Yeah.
So and then if you ask one of their brothers or sisters, they'll tell you that they're both wrong, and it's Appice.
Appice. Nice. So what was it like working with those guys?
Oh, it was amazing. Actually, Carmine just came the other night to the first show that I did with Jakey Lee, and I kind of reintroduced them after 30 years that they haven't seen each other. So that was pretty cool. And, I mean, and Vinny, they're both legends, and just participating in their project is really cool. And we did some shows around New York, and we recorded a show in the Iridium in New York City, which is a legendary kind of venue where Les Paul used to play, I think, every Monday night. Yeah. And, we recorded that show, and then they released a CD called Drum Wars on Cleopatra Records, and it just came out, I think, 2 weeks ago. So, it's pretty cool, and we're going to have some more shows next year, I think in February, around, New York City or upstate New York and probably some other locations. And, it's just really cool. It's something that definitely keeps you on your toes when you play with both of them, especially when they play together. They don't play it exactly like the recording, and they just go at each other and just kind of like do some polyrhythms and, just like flip the beat, and you almost have to ignore them when you're playing because you'll get thrown off if you really like try to follow what they're doing.
So, have you ever told them, you guys really need more cowbell?
Yeah, no, I haven't said that, but I'll keep that in mind.
You need to. You need to hey, that needs more cowbell, man.
Yeah, well, and they'll double it up, so I'll have a lot of cowbell.
Well, Ethan, how much longer are you out on tour with Jakey Lee?
We just started, so it's about 3 weeks. We have like 12 more shows or so.
I know you're coming here to our area to play at Chicago at Reggie's on the 13th. So.
Oh, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and we're really digging what we've heard from you so far, bud, and keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep being true.
Thank you so much, guys.
We're going to play another song off the album. This one's called Up the Stairway. Tell us a little bit about this tune.
Well, Up the Stairway is obviously based on Stairway to Heaven. It's like my guitar arrangement to it, and it just came about when I was just so sick of teaching Stairway to Heaven to like every guitar student, and at some point, I was just explaining to them about the chord progression and how it has a descending, like a chromatic descending bass line, and I just explained to them about the changes and what every chord was, what the name of it was, and everything. And I was like, well, on that chord you can play this, on this chord you can play that, and then just like, I got stood up by a student, and I had like half an hour of just like killing some time, and I was just messing around with the chord progression to Stairway, and I was like, this is pretty cool. You can play some pretty cool stuff over those changes, and this is it. There you have it. That's Up the Stairway.
Sweet.
All right, cool. Ethan, we appreciate you taking time to come out on Rock and Metal Revival. You're always welcome back.
Oh,
sure.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
To catch the whole show of Rock and Metal Revival, all you have to do is check it out on these affiliates. Mega Rock Radio's on Saturdays from 11 a.m. Eastern Time, on Rock 101 KLOL on Saturdays 11 p.m. Eastern, on Z-Rock 106.9 KKZR Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Uncontrolled Noise Tuesdays at 1 a.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and on Saturday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern on UncontrolledNoise.com. And make sure that you leave them a message and tell them that you found Rock and Metal Revival on their stations. Enjoy this edition of Rock and Metal Revival.